Okay, so I need to tell you something about New Year's Eve that might completely change how you're approaching these next 48 hours. Because what's happening on December 31st isn't just another celebration. I genuinely believe the universe is orchestrating something that only happens once in a very long time. The moon is entering Gemini on New Year's Eve, and I know that might sound like just another transit, but here's what's actually happening. This specific lunar placement is creating what I can only describe as a telepathic tunnel, a direct line between souls that have been silent for way too long. And if you've been waking up thinking about someone specific lately, like they just pop into your head for no reason, stay with me on this one. There's a very specific reason that's happening, and I'm going to explain exactly why later in this video. But first, I need you to understand something. Right now, at this very moment, someone might be staring at their phone with your name on the screen. They might be typing, deleting, typing again, because the energy that's building toward New Year's Eve, I don't think it's going to let them stay silent anymore, and honestly, they might not even understand why they suddenly feel this urgency to reach out. But you will, after watching this. The universe has been setting this up all month long. So here's what I've been noticing, and tell me if this resonates with you. December has felt heavy, right? Like you've been carrying around this weight that you can't quite explain. Conversations have felt forced. The silence from certain people has felt louder than ever, and there's been this weird sense of waiting for something you can't even name. That's not random. I really believe December has been preparing us for what's about to happen, the full moon in Gemini on December 4th. That was the universe illuminating what's been missing. It literally shone a light on the conversations that haven't happened, the words that haven't been said, and if you felt that full moon intensely, especially if it made you think about someone from your past, that was the first domino falling. Then Neptune went direct on December 10th, and suddenly the dreams started. Have you been having vivid dreams about someone? Dreams that feel more like memories or messages than regular dreams? That's Neptune clearing the spiritual channels, making the connection stronger even if you haven't talked to this person in months, maybe even years. And then Mercury entered Sagittarius, and here's where it gets interesting. Mercury in Sagittarius doesn't do small talk. It doesn't do surface level anything. It wants truth, raw, honest, unfiltered truth. But it's been squaring Saturn all month, which is basically like having your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. The desire to speak has been there, building and building, but something's been holding it back. Until now, because on New Year's Eve, when the moon enters Gemini, that square finally breaks. And when it does, I think all those unsent messages, all those unspoken truths, all those things people have been holding back, they're going to come pouring out. And honestly, it might happen in ways that surprise everyone involved. The miracle text phenomenon is real, and here's why. You know that message that arrives out of nowhere, the one from someone you haven't heard from in forever, at the exact moment you were thinking about them? That's what I'm talking about. But on New Year's Eve, with the moon in Gemini, this isn't going to be rare. I think it's going to be everywhere. Here's what I believe is happening. Gemini rules communication, but specifically digital communication. Texts, DMs, phone calls, even those random WhatsApp messages from numbers you forgot you had. Gemini is the sign of the messenger, and when the moon moves through it, our emotional need to connect becomes almost unbearable. But it's not just about Gemini. Mars is in Capricorn right now, forming this perfect sextile to the North Node in Pisces. And I know that sounds technical, but here's what it actually means. The universe is literally aligning action with destiny. Mars is the planet that makes us move, and it's pointing directly at our karmic path forward. So when someone suddenly feels compelled to send that text, it's not just an impulse. I really believe it's a karmic correction. It's the universe saying, enough silence, it's time. And here's what really gets me about this. Venus is also in Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn doesn't mess around with casual connections. When Venus is in Capricorn and someone reaches out, they're not just saying, hey, what's up? They're saying something deeper, something like, I want to build something real with you. Have you noticed how many people have been posting about missing their ex lately, or how many are suddenly getting messages from people they thought were gone forever? That's not social media algorithm stuff. I think that's this energy already starting to work. The portal is already cracking open. If you're one of these three signs, check your phone tonight. So while this energy is available to everyone, there are three signs that are basically lightning rods for this miracle text energy. And if you're one of these signs, I really need you to pay attention to what I'm about to say. First up, Gemini. If you're a Gemini, you are literally the host of this entire cosmic event. The moon is coming home to your sign, and with it comes this massive spotlight on your connections. But here's what's specific for you. That text you're going to receive, it's going to validate everything you've been feeling. You know how you've been questioning yourself lately, wondering if you were crazy for still thinking about them, wondering if the connection was all in your head? This message is going to prove that your intuition was right all along. The silence wasn't because they didn't care, it was because they cared too much and didn't know how to handle it. The message might reference something specific from early December, maybe around that full moon. They might finally explain their silence. And here's the key thing. It's going to be intellectual, but also deeply personal. They're going to acknowledge your perspective in a way that actually makes you feel seen for the first time in months. Next, Taurus. Now, Taurus, your situation is different. Uranus has been in your sign, shaking up everything you thought was stable, but on New Year's Eve, that chaos is going to deliver something unexpected. And I mean really unexpected. Someone you thought was completely out of your life, someone you maybe even convinced yourself you were over, is about to shock you. This isn't going to be a gentle reconnection. This is going to be what I call a tower moment in text form. It's going to change everything in an instant. But here's the beautiful part about your miracle. Mars in Capricorn is trining your sign. So while the message might be shocking, it's actually going to offer you something you've been craving: stability. Real commitment, a concrete plan, not just words, but actual substance. This person isn't just reaching out to chat, they're reaching out to rebuild. And finally, Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius, Mercury is in your sign right now, making you the voice of this entire event. But here's what's interesting about your situation. You might be the one sending the miracle text, or you might be receiving one in response to a signal you've already sent out. The moon in Gemini is lighting up your partnership sector, so this isn't just about any random connection. This is about the connection, the one that actually matters. And the message, whether you're sending it or receiving it, is going to be blunt, honest, and surprisingly optimistic. You know how you've been losing hope lately, feeling like maybe you were delusional for believing in this connection? This text is going to prove that your optimism wasn't misplaced, your faith wasn't stupid. You were right to keep believing, and this message is going to show you exactly why. Why New Year's Eve makes this inevitable. You know, there's something about New Year's Eve that makes everything feel more urgent, right? It's like this cosmic deadline where suddenly everyone realizes they can't carry their unfinished business into another year, and that's exactly what's happening here. Saturn rules time, and New Year's Eve is the ultimate Saturnian holiday. It's literally about marking time, closing cycles, acknowledging endings and beginnings. And with Mercury squaring Saturn all month, it's been creating this pressure that's been building and building, the pressure to speak, to reach out, to finally say the thing. And when the moon enters Gemini on that specific night, it's like the dam breaks. All that Saturnian pressure meets Gemini's need to communicate, and suddenly people can't help themselves. The internal dialogue becomes, I cannot enter 2026 with this silence between us. I have to say something now, or I'll regret it forever. I've been feeling this myself, honestly. That sense that certain things need to be resolved before the year ends, that certain words need to be spoken. And if you've been feeling that too, you're definitely not alone. But here's what's really interesting. Gemini rules networks and multiple conversations, so this miracle text might not come through the platform you expect. It might be on something you haven't checked in a while, an old Instagram account, WhatsApp, maybe even email. The message finds a way even if it has to take an unexpected route. The window is open right now, but it won't stay open. Here's what I really need you to understand. This isn't just about one night. The energy is already building. Right now, as you're watching this, someone might be writing and rewriting a message to you. They might be gathering courage, fighting their ego, battling their fear of rejection. The portal is already opening, and I don't use that word lightly. This is a genuine cosmic portal where the normal rules don't apply, where people do things they normally wouldn't, where connections that seemed impossible suddenly become inevitable. But, and this is important, this window isn't going to stay open forever. This specific configuration, this exact energy, this particular moment where the universe is practically pushing people to reach out, it's temporary. Once we move into the new year and the moon continues its journey, this urgency fades, the moment passes. Some people are going to take this opportunity and completely transform their relationships. They're going to send the text, make the call, bridge the gap that's been growing for months or even years. They're going to experience what I genuinely believe is a miracle, the reconnection that changes everything. Others are going to feel the pull but resist it. They're going to type the message and delete it. They're going to pick up the phone and put it back down. And when January comes and this energy settles, they're going to wonder why they didn't just do it, why they let fear win again. Something else is happening that nobody's talking about. Okay, so this is the part I mentioned at the beginning. There's something about this particular Gemini moon that I don't think most people are seeing. And if you miss this, you might misunderstand the entire experience. This isn't just about romantic connections. Yes, twin flames are going to reconnect. Yes, soulmates are going to reach out. But the Gemini moon on New Year's Eve is also about truth in all its forms. Some of these miracle texts might be apologies you've been waiting years to receive, acknowledgements of truth that someone was never brave enough to admit, confessions that change how you see entire chapters of your life. And here's what's crucial. Not every miracle text is meant to restart something. Some are meant to complete something, to give you the closure you need to finally, truly move forward, to release you from a story you've been stuck in. So when that message comes, and I really believe it will for many of you, don't assume you know what it means before you read it. Don't project your hopes or your fears onto it. Let it be exactly what it is. Because sometimes the real miracle isn't getting back together. Sometimes it's finally getting the truth that sets you free. I think that's why the universe chose Gemini for this moment. Gemini doesn't just rule communication, it rules clarity. It cuts through the fog and delivers information in its purest form. No more confusion, no more mixed signals. Just truth, finally arriving after all this time. How to prepare for your miracle. So what do you do now? How do you prepare for something this big? First, clear your energy. I know that might sound vague, but I mean it literally. If you've been holding on to anger, resentment, or hurt about this person or situation, now's the time to release it. Not for them, for you. Because holding on to that heavy energy might actually block the message from coming through clearly. Second, pay attention to your dreams over the next 2 nights. I really believe dreams are going to be incredibly active, especially on the 30th and 31st. You might receive information in your dreams before it arrives in your physical reality. You might even dream about the exact message before you receive it. And finally, stay open. Don't close yourself off because you're afraid of being hurt again. Don't shut down your phone or avoid checking messages because you're scared of disappointment. This is a time to be receptive, even if it feels vulnerable. The universe is literally orchestrating reunions right now. Conversations that need to happen are going to happen. Truths that need to be spoken are going to be spoken. And connections that are meant to evolve are going to evolve, but only if we let them. You know, I've been thinking a lot about why this is happening now, why the universe would create this kind of opening at this particular moment. And I think it's because we're moving into 2026 with a completely different energy. The old patterns, the old silences, the old wounds, they can't come with us. They're too heavy for where we're going. So this Gemini moon, this miracle text phenomenon, it's not just about reconnection, it's about liberation. It's about finally having the conversations that free us to become who we're meant to be next. And whether your miracle text is a love confession, an apology, an explanation, or even a goodbye that gives you closure, trust that it's exactly what you need for your highest good. The universe doesn't make mistakes with timing like this. Alright, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me create more content like this. If you receive a miracle text in the next few days, please come back and tell me about it in the comments. I read every single one and I think we're all going through this together. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear it. You might be the reason they stay open to their miracle. Take care of yourself, be gentle with your heart, and I'll see you in the next one.